Crawford, nobody told Crawford to say anything. Crawford's his own man doing his own thing, and that's how he feels. And we'll see how this thing plays out in the next couple of years.
Dana White has made his position crystal clear in the ongoing clash between Terence Crawford and boxing sanctioning bodies. He's openly rejected the rumors that Crawford's decision to avoid the $300,000 sanctioning fee was some kind of coordinated stunt with the UFC. According to Dana, Crawford is acting entirely on his own, and this pushback is as real as it gets. This isn't just an argument over a championship. It's a direct challenge to the way boxing has been run for decades. After beating Canelo, Crawford refused to hand over the WBC's $300,000 fee, realizing he was basically being charged to hold on to his own legacy. The WBC reacted by stripping him, creating a situation where the man considered the best fighter alive no longer holds the belt. Crawford fired back on Instagram, telling Mauricio Suleiman to keep the title and brushing off the belt as nothing more than a piece of hardware. He even highlighted that the respected Ring magazine belt costs nothing, sending a message that he has grown bigger than any sanctioning body's logo.
And guess what? It's free! It's free! How you love that? $180,000 free. How much your belt cost? I wonder, how much your belt cost? Huh? I don't see no receipts on your belt. It's crazy. Y'all be having so much taxes on these belts. You got some nerves. It's crazy that you can sit up there and have all these belts. You know, you got the WBC silver, the WBA intern, the whatever belt y'all got, and you taxing these fighters every time they fight, and you claim that you for these fighters. You're not for these fighters. You probably worse than the promoters. But hey, I wish you the best.
Boxing's governing bodies scrambled to contain the fallout. Dana White showed up to the UFC 323 post-fight press conference looking completely unbothered, almost pleased with the chaos unfolding. On December 6th, reporters jumped straight into questions about the situation. For days, rumors had been circulating that Dana White and his TKO partners were secretly pushing Crawford to push back against the sanctioning system as a way to shake up the boxing world.
Turkey, I hope y'all get that done, man. I hope y'all get that done so we can all see, people face like this guy, go away from boxing because they ruin the sport with all these antics that they do. They got they ranking systems when people be mandatories for years, like Benavidez. They don't strip these fighters, but I give credit to the IBF. They stripped me. They ain't even give me time. They stripped me, pop me, even though I wasn't, coming back down the weight, but they handled their business. They did what they were supposed to do. The WBC, you ain't never see them strip no Canelo for the Benavidez. He was what, mandatory for like 2 years? It's crazy. But that's that favoritism shit.
Dana didn't dodge the topic, but he did shut down one key assumption. He made it clear that no one pushed Crawford to say anything, that Crawford acted on his own and spoke his mind because that's genuinely how he feels. But if you pay attention to Dana's tone, there's something deeper going on. He didn't scold Crawford for going against the traditional system. Instead, he backed him up. He presented Crawford's blow-up not as a slip-up, but as a moment of truth. Dana has been calling boxing's structure flawed for years, and now the best fighter on the planet is proving his point in front of the entire world. His grin at that press conference said it all. The UFC doesn't deal with sanctioning fees, and Dana knows fighters across combat sports are beginning to take notice.
Boxing's starting to fall apart. Once there was so much money involved and it got so big, guys started
ducking other guys. Then you got the sanctioning bodies in there. We think this guy's the champ. We think this guy's the champ. And then none of those guys would fight each other. That's when it all started to fall apart.
This is where the conversation shifts into deeper, almost conspiratorial territory. At that same press conference, Dana slipped in a pointed remark about the Ali Act, the federal law meant to shield boxers from being taken advantage of by promoters. He went after today's boxing promoters, calling them out for acting righteous, while benefiting from the very system they pretend to criticize. Dana said he finds it amusing how strongly they defend the Ali Act in its current form, and he added that he's willing to bet they wouldn't be so supportive if the tables ever turned.
What did you think of the WBC stripping Terence Crawford of his belt?
Listen, if you look at how this thing's playing out, and first of all, let me say this. I love that all these guys, all these boxing guys, love the Ali Act the way it is now. I want to see how many of them actually stay there and do that version of the Ali Act instead of the add-on that we're going to do. You know what I mean? You don't have to be a fucking rocket scientist to see what's going on with all these guys. They're all these guys that are crying the loudest are the fucking problems. They're the problem, every one of these guys. And, Crawford, nobody told Crawford to say anything. Crawford's his own man doing his own thing, and that's how he feels. And we'll see how this thing plays out in the next couple of years.
Are you surprised by this frosty reception from the other boxing promoters?
No, not at all. Not at all. But here's the thing that's great for fighters is that
the WBC's response has looked outright frantic. Right after taking the title from Crawford, they rushed to mandate a fight between Hamza Shiraz and Christian Bilai for the newly vacated belt. It's clear they're in a hurry to crown someone else and create the illusion that nothing is out of the ordinary.
It is just regrettable. Not even a thank you or I'm sorry, taking a different route. No response. I wish him the best. But this is not. The WBC is huge, it's great, it's about greatness, and I'm relieved, to tell you the truth.
So yeah, you got it over with and you immediately came back with a solution, which is going to be a fight for the vacant title, Hamza Shiraz against Christian Mbele, who we just saw on the Canelo Crawford undercard in that great fight against Lester Martinez. And you put Lester Martinez in position to fight the winner.
Absolutely.
You feel like that's an adequate response? Like this is going to be an entertaining thing for the fight fans?
Yes, it's a great fight, and Billy is very entertaining. He comes forward. Hamza Shiraz just had the best fight of his career, knocking out Berlanga dramatically in New York.
Yeah.
And Lester Martinez had an unbelievable fight with Mbili. He's going to fight the winner. So there's great movement. Whenever Canelo is ready, after his surgery, when he's recovered, he's in the mix. And we have other fighters fighting, so it's going to be great activity.
So what is Dana really getting at? He's suggesting that the same people who constantly preach about protecting fighters are actually the ones draining them financially through fees, commissions, and sanctioning costs. In his view, boxing's current system doesn't safeguard athletes. It feeds off them. By publicly supporting Crawford's refusal to pay, Dana is exposing one of the sport's biggest weaknesses. Everyone gets their cut before the fighter even sees theirs. The sanctioning bodies, the promoters, the managers, they all cash in first. Dana's message carried a dark warning. As the business changes, the old-school boxing power brokers will disappear the second the Ali Act stops padding their pockets.
they have options, you know? All these promoters are saying the Ali Act is perfect and this is the way it should be. I want to see them all stay in it. I want every one of them to stay in the Ali Act as it is now for the next however many years. I fucking guarantee you they won't.
Across social media, from Reddit discussions to Twitter comment sections, the support is overwhelmingly in Crawford's favor. Fans are calling the sanctioning fee a straight-up shakedown and labeling the situation a blatant money grab. By rushing to name a new champion who hasn't actually beaten Crawford, the WBC has unintentionally reduced its once respected belt to something that looks more like a consolation prize. They're trying to push the story forward, but in the process, They've exposed how little influence they really have when a major star decides he's no longer willing to play by their rules.
Told me that 20 years ago at Il Molino, I would think, yeah, but what has this guy done that he thinks he can do that in boxing? But now the track record says, yes, he can do it. You have institutional knowledge of how to do it, and then partnered with Turki Al-Sheikh and Nick Khan, by the way. What I think unites all three of you is you love boxing. Like, all three of you guys love boxing, and is that what brought you guys together? Like, I think of boxing for so long, the power brokers a lot of times didn't even like the sport. Is that the unifying thing here?
Yeah, and everybody hated each other in boxing too. Yeah, it's almost like this was meant to happen. I've been talking about it, saying, I'm kicking the tires, I'm looking at it, timing is everything. And then the way that this whole thing came together, it literally reminds me of every other thing that's happened to me in my life. It's like this was the time and the place and the right people to make.
We can't unpack this entire situation without mentioning the huge factor in the background, Zuffa Boxing. Even though Crawford isn't locked into a long-term contract with Zuffa, the UFC parent company's boxing division, his fight with Canelo was promoted under that banner with support from Turki Al-Sheikh. That link places Crawford right in the center of boxing's new power structure, a group with massive financial resources and zero tolerance for the outdated rules that have controlled the sport for decades. The growing theory behind the scenes is that this whole scenario might be a pressure test. If the sport's top star refuses to pay sanctioning fees and doesn't lose popularity or income, then the sanctioning bodies instantly lose their leverage. And if Zuffa and TKO can host blockbuster fights without needing the WBC's approval or their green belt, then the WBC's influence evaporates. Dana White isn't simply standing up for Crawford. He's witnessing a possible collapse of the business model used by his competitors. He didn't need to tell Crawford to speak out, because the environment Zuffa is creating is already convincing fighters that they don't need traditional sanctioning organizations to make huge pay-per-view events happen.
End up putting it right back into the sport, and then an even bigger one comes along, and you just signed a rights package for $7.7 billion for the UFC. We're talking about NFL, NBA, MLB type numbers, starting to get into that territory, rights deals that boxing has never had. Do you think it's possible to build a boxing business to that kind of scale?
That's the plan, and you're absolutely right. It's one of my, when I think about the boxing guys, all the boxing guys, all these guys that talk smack and all the dumb stuff that's said. These guys have been in the business for 100 years, and none of them have done anything. I've never seen a business where there's been trillions of dollars in revenue, and at the end of the day, there's nothing there because none of them reinvested in the sport of boxing. Every time they put on an event, it's a going out of business sale. We have reinvested hundreds of millions of dollars into the sport of MMA and into the UFC. And yes, we will do the same with boxing.
But let's be honest, fans aren't buying it. Everyone knows Crawford is still the man who beat the top guy, no matter who they hand the belt to.
Money-making schemes at the end of the day. I personally, listen, anybody that's listened to any of my stuff going forward, I think we could do without sanctioning bodies. I think we could all move forward with just having one champion, one per division. I know that people will come up to me and say, well, more opportunities when there's more belts and all this type of stuff. But at the end of the day, if we get boxing right, opportunities will fall for people. If the WBC played along with their own rules all the time, to the letter, I would probably sit here and have a different opinion, but they don't. They make things up as they go along. For example, the Conor Benn scenario, right? He failed a drug test as per the clean boxing program, which is run by the WBC. The WBC provide Ben with an alternative reason to the one that he gave them, because the one that he gave, if it is true, would open up the WBC to litigation of every single fighter that has ever failed a test and served the ban under the clean boxing program. Conor Benn told them that there was a flaw in the testing process. They said that that's nonsense, so therefore they provided him the excuse of eating too many eggs. Conor Benn never came up with that excuse. That was a WBC reasoning. Also, we've seen this week alone, the WBC £140 champion, Subriel Matias. He's failed a drug test. Instead of cancelling an upcoming fight with Dalton Smith, which is coming up in January, he's been allowed to continue because the WBC don't operate strict liability. In 2019, this is an important part of this story. In 2019, a 28-year-old fighter called Maxime Dadyshev died as a result of injuries sustained in a fight with Sabri Almatyas. This should be investigated massively off the back of the news of him failing a drug test in recent times. Here's the best one, and this has only happened in the last 2 days.